Hi, this is Mike, and this is for Bushclass USA, and this is for the elective student practice for a personal survival kit, or PSK. And my PSK is constantly evolving and changing, and the one that I have here is not the only one. But this is the most basic and all-around kit that I carry for most of the year. My personal philosophy is I'm a big fan of cargo pants, and having a PSK that's attached to my system of clothing or my covering rather than attached to any easily removable gear that could be set down or dropped or lost overboard if I'm in a watercraft and such. I prefer to have it in a pocket or on my belt or whatever. And so those attached items that I usually have are this USGI compass pouch, probably very familiar to most of you. I also carry with me at all times a working bandana, which sees a lot of use. And this is an extra size. And I also have with me a paracord bracelet that gives me about 20 feet of cordage, so that's always in the mix. And then I use my Swiss Army knife farmer, which is again very familiar with everyone. This has a lanyard on it. And then another item on the list is a notebook, rite-in-rain, that I use for taking notes and making diagrams and maps and navigation and anything else that's really needed. And so here's a close-up look at the kit, and I'm going to take it apart here for you and show you what it is that I have on hand. Most of these kits, when you build them, you build on your own experience and you build on the experience of others. You really have to address some common things: shelter, water, some kind of cutting tool or knife, getting sustenance, signaling, some kind of first aid, and making fire. And so I'm trying to make those a priority in making the kit. This is what I've got. And again, it's probably going to be very familiar with most of you. So one of the first things that I've got in here, of course, is a fire steel on a lanyard, and this may come out and go right onto my belt or my pocket and into my pocket right away, but a very good item to have in the kit, as many of you well know. Another item that I carry in here, of course, addresses the issue of water. Again, if you're familiar with the aqua-pouches, I really like these. This is kind of an evolution. When these came out, they gladly replaced the platypus plastic containers that I had been carrying around. So I use an aqua-pouch along with that. And then, of course, there is the familiar Mylar aluminized shelter blanket or survival blanket. A good one to have in your kit. These are about the smallest that you can get, and that fits in the pouch. I also carry some chapstick that has multiple purposes. When you're getting as familiar with your kit as you possibly can and practicing with these things, you find some things work a little better than others. And I like the chapstick because I can use it for fire starting as well as on my lips and addressing possible wounds and things. The key to most of building the kit is having multiple uses for everything, so I work very hard at trying to come up with multiple uses. Again, inside the pouch, a couple more things, just some cordage. I've got some artificial sinew that can be used for a number of different things, and a roll of jute twine in addition to that. And again, another Altoids tin. I've got a couple of Ranger bands that hold it together on the outside. These can be used for starting fire as well as binding things. And then around the outside, is familiar with everybody else, is of course a foot or two of duct tape. Kind of seals things up. And you get the really sticky stuff. It's always a little difficult to keep that in place, but hopefully we can do that. And there we've got our Altoids tin. They'll take apart. And inside I have addressing immediately my first aid. I've got 3 Band-Aids here of different sizes and a 2-inch by 2-inch gauze pad. I have a plastic bag with my different cordages and such in it. This includes 25 feet of monofilament line, about 25 feet of braided fishing line, very strong. This is part of the fishing kit, but cordage always has multiple uses. More jute twine for making some kind of tinder bundle if I need to, or putting that together. And then about 15 feet of brass snare wire that can also be used for a bunch of things. So those kind of cover some of the more immediate cordage needs, as well as having a plastic bag. Some form of signaling is always important, and this is a small light, LED light, that's in the kit. I like it because it has the lock-on battery, so the light stays on. Of course, the ever popular button compass. Again, this one I like because it has on the surface a ring dial that I can use for setting a compass bearing, and that's also kind of nice to have in the kit when navigating. I have a wire saw that is a good one, rated fairly high in terms of breaking strength, and the attendant rings for putting it together and building a portable saw. I have a small foil pack here that has 10 iodine tablets wrapped in plastic and then in foil. These I change out occasionally because they do age some, but with those 10 you can use them in various concentrations actually for water purification or wound irrigation and such. If you want to go a little stronger, you can use a tablet in a much of a fashion for first aid. I also have in here wrapped in some duct tape a little bit more of my repair kit and my first aid kit. Let's see if I can get this open without losing everything. And inside here I have 3 needles for repair, some sinkers, and some hooks. The needles themselves, I have actually gotten them magnetized so that I can even use those multi-purpose for some kind of a compass point. So that's a very valuable resource right there. I've also got some peanut butter in a tube. This is actually a part of an old unused syringe, and I've got it sealed on both ends with the little rubber plunger points, and so I can extrude the peanut butter out of here in measured amounts, and then when it's done it's easily refilled again, but it's a good hard plastic and doesn't compress in my kit, so I use that for baiting snare traps. I also have inside a CRKT MK5. It's a small survival knife, about 1.75 inch blade, and I like it, though obviously it doesn't get used a whole lot, but it does have a lot of possibilities, and it replaced a dogfish knife that I had that didn't fit as easily into this kit as it has in others. But I like this one because it's specifically designed to go into the Altoids tin. Also inside, some plastic wrapped charred cloth to again act as some tinder for starting fire. I have also a backup ferro rod, a small little miniature version, which comes in kind of handy. There is also within the kit a razor blade, which can be used for a number of almost surgical kinds of cuts and precision, as well as even fashioning it into probably some kind of knife or maybe even a arrowhead or something for going after some larger animals. And then I've got some tin foil, a couple of square feet of tin foil that can be used for signaling and containers and making charred cloth and things like that. I've also got inside some more duct tape guarding both sides of the inside of my tin, and the outside of the tin has also got a polished surface for signaling and such, and it's been used quite a bit, so it's going to have to get buffed up again. But anyway, that is the container, which of course can be used for boiling water if you needed to, or making charred cloth. And so there, that addresses most of my container needs. So that is a visit to my my kit. I think I like to have things in my kit that has those multiple uses, and I like the fact that my survival kit is part of a modular system that includes, you know, something like a tinder kit, another compass pouch here, or my first aid kit, or my water kit, or my navigation kit. But the survival kit that I have here represents you know, kind of a subset and a kind of a miniature version of everything that I carry in most of my system. And so the toughest part sometimes with practicing with all this is putting it back in the tin. So I hope that gives you a good overview of what I'm using, and I appreciate your attention. Thanks to all the instructors at Bushclass USA for this opportunity to present kind of gear and things that get used and to have on hand for personal survival. And I think this addresses all of the needs in terms of shelter, water, a knife, my sustenance with my gaining fishing and snare wire, signaling with the light, LED light and the mirror reflectors on multiple objects, of course the first aid with the band-aids, and finally with fire, with our combustion and a good fire steel. Okay, appreciate it. Thanks for your attention, guys, and catch you next go around.